Hi friends, with the IPL 2025 just kicking off, have you ever wondered how the players are accounted for? Are they human capital or are they treated as an expense? In the Indian context, the player fees or the auction price paid will be treated as an expense and not as a asset. Now this begs the question, why is human capital not recognized under accounting standards? First of all, it's the lack of control. You cannot own a human being like an asset. Employment contracts or consultancy contracts are not considered enough to establish control under the definitions. People can fall sick, underperform, etc. So there's always uncertainty of future economic benefits. And also there's a challenge in measurement because you can't reliably measure the value of skill, potential, or talent or productivity in terms of monetary terms. So in IPL, would the contract amount be expensed off in the first year or is it spread across the entire contract period? For example, let's consider Josh Hazelwood bought by RCB for 12.5 crore. Now this was for a 3-year contract period. So this is recorded as a prepaid expense because it's spread across for 3 years. So each year, 4.17 crore is transferred from the prepaid expense account to the profit and loss account as an expense. Now let's assume Josh Hazelwood gets injured. What is the treatment? Will the prepaid expense be impaired? Interestingly, a short-term injury will not affect the amortization as such, whereas if it's a long-term or a permanent injury, then the unamortized balance is impaired or written off. For example, after the first year, if Josh Hazelwood gets injured, then 12.5 crore minus 4.17 crore, the balance would be completely written off in the P&L account. That's why these franchises also take insurance. Now with insurance money coming in, the amortization is separate. The insurance money is also taken as an income whenever the income is received. So Ind AS 38 does not allow recognition of human capital as an intangible asset, whereas a combined reading of Ind AS 1 and Ind AS 37 will help us understand that this would be a deferred expense or a prepaid asset. Ind AS 1 requires the expense to be matched to the period for which the benefits are received, and hence the player fee is amortized over 3 years. Even though the prepaid player expense is not an intangible asset, Ind AS 36 impairment will still apply if the future economic benefits are bleak. So hence, if there is a permanent injury, then impairment would definitely apply. In IPL, the franchise owns the contract of a player for a fixed term, but not the player rights. But interestingly, in football, for example, UEFA, etc., the club owns the player's registration rights. So one of the most high-profile transfers in recent times was in 2017 when PSG acquired Neymar for $222 million from Barcelona, and that would be considered as an intangible asset. The accounting treatment would be this entire $222 million would be considered as an intangible asset to be amortized over 5 years. That is 44.4 million every year. Would impairment apply? Yes. If Neymar underperforms, then impairment would apply. Now imagine this concept for RCB. Can players of football clubs be traded or sold to another football club? Yes, it is possible. That's what happened with Neymar. This is called as a transfer fee. But in IPL, will this happen? No. For example, Hardik Pandya was traded from Gujarat Titans to Mumbai Indians and estimated trade value etc. was confidential. Would that amount be capitalized? No, it is expensed off. Football clubs faced a lot of financial challenges due to high amortization costs. For example, ACF Fiorentina went through hell because of high amortization costs because the players were not performing. Whereas in IPL, on the other hand, they put all their money as expenses and try to make a lot of money through ticket sales and merchandise sales. Now you know across all franchises why RCB charges the most. With exorbitant expenses across the last 18 years, we live to fight another day. Isala Cup Namde.